Hello and welcome to the next video. In this video we will discuss about permanent magnets. So before we start discussing about permanent magnets, I want to re-emphasize our previous discussions in which we discussed that electric and magnetic field are two sides of the same coin. So let us see how a dipole is looking like. Dipole is equal and opposite charges, two equal and opposite charges separated by a small distance, and we see the electric lines of forces or electric field lines as generated by a dipole. Now compare this with the magnetic field lines generated by a bar magnet. So a bar magnet is just like an electric dipole, only it is a magnetic dipole. It has two magnetic poles, north pole and south pole, and here like in electric field, the electric field lines come out of the positive charge and go into a negative charge. Similarly, in a bar magnet, the electric lines of the magnetic lines of force come out of the north pole and go to the south pole. So here we see that electric field and magnetic field, and an electric dipole generates similar lines of force, field lines, electric field lines, like a magnetic dipole creates a similar magnetic field lines. And one interesting thing is, let us see if you remember our discussion on solenoids in our last video. This is how the magnetic force of lines of a or magnetic field of a solenoid which a solenoid creates. It is seen here, and if you compare it, this also looks very similar to the magnetic field lines which is created by a bar magnet. So a solenoid in fact can be substituted for a bar magnet. A long solenoid is nothing but it creates a magnetic field lines just like a bar magnet. And not only that, an electric dipole can be assumed is similar to a the magnetic field which is created by a small current carrying loop. Let us investigate what I am saying. Let me substantiate it with. So we know that a dipole is nothing but two charges which are separated by a small distance, two equal and opposite charges. And we had studied that in the axis is the line joining the positive charge to the negative charge. So in an axis which is at a d distance from the center, we had studied in our discussion of electrostatic potential that electric field at an axis is given by 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught 2 p by d cube, where p is the electric dipole moment, which is q times d. The direction of p and d is the line joining the positive to the negative. And in the last video, I guess, in one of our magnetic field discussion, we had discussed that a current carrying loop creates a magnetic field in the axis in the direction given by this, and the B is the magnitude of the magnetic field. We had derived it to be mu naught by 2 I a square, where a is the radius of this, a square by 2 a square plus d square to the power 3 by 2, where d is the distance at which I am from the center of the ring at which I am finding my magnetic field. So we had discussed that the dipoles are separated by a very small distance d. So let us examine the case when I have a small loop, just like I have small separation of a electric dipole. Let me assume what happens to this magnetic field B when it is a very small loop, or A is very very small with respect to A. Now when or D is very very greater than A. So now we know that if D is very very greater than A, or A is very small, A is a very small loop, then I can neglect this addition A square plus D square, because I am adding a very small quantity, square of a very small quantity, to a square of very large quantity. So I can neglect this term for practical purposes, and if I do so, if I remove this term, this D square to the power 3 by 2 will become D cube, and my overall formula will just become mu naught I A square by 2D cube. And if I just rearrange this term, multiply pi with numerator and denominator, or multiply 2 pi in both numerator and denominator, I can reduce this equation in this form, or I can bring this equation in this form, which is I multiply the standard magnetic coefficient mu naught by 2 pi into 2 by this term, which is 2 into I pi A square by D cube. Now see what interesting thing happens if I just assume, let me assume that I into pi A square is mu. Okay, so if I substitute I into pi A square by mu, I will get B is equal to mu naught by 4 pi 2 mu by D cube. And lo, compare this one with this equation of magnetic field with the electric field created by a dipole. So these are very similar. This is the electrical constant 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. This is a magnetic constant mu naught by 4 pi divided by D cube divided by D cube multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by dipole moment P multiplied by mu. Okay, so this mu can be taken as the dipole moment of this, or magnetic dipole moment, because now we are dealing with magnetism. This mu is corollary to the electric dipole moment P. Okay, so mu can be written as the magnetic dipole moment. Okay, so mu can be written as a magnetic dipole moment. So we see that all we have to do, okay, because magnetic and electric field are one and the same, to find anything, and by anything what I mean you will come to know later on. Okay, by we need to substitute for example B for a magnetic dipole. The equations are same for electric field as well as magnetic field. Okay, just what we need to do is we need to substitute to find anything. There are two steps. Anything means later on we will try to find what is the torque experienced by a bar magnet in a magnetic field, like we had found out what is the torque experienced by a dipole in an electric field. So the equivalent question in a magnetism will be what will be the torque experienced by a magnetic field in a magnetic field. What is the potential energy of a bar magnet or magnetic dipole in an electric field? What is the magnetic potential due to a magnetic monopole? What is the magnetic field due to a magnetic monopole? What is the electric field due to a magnetic dipole? So to find all these answers, we need to follow these steps. Step one is replace the electric constant by magnetic constant. Okay, replace the electric constant by magnetic constant. Okay, and what will be the step 2? So here, for example, here if I want to find the electric field at an axis, if I want to find the magnetic field at an axis due to a magnetic dipole, what I need to do is, if I just remember the electric field, which is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So step 1 is replace the electric field by the magnetic constant. So 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, which is the electric constant, I've we can replace just by the magnetic constant, which is mu naught by 4 pi. And the second thing is, the second step is replace the electric quantities with the magnetic quantities. Okay, so for example, here the electric quantity is the electric dipole moment. Okay, I need to replace this by electric to the electric dipole moment by the magnetic dipole moment, which is equal to mu. Okay, so let us apply this. Now let us apply this in our study here. Okay, so first thing is first application is, what is the force? Okay, we know that if a charged particle is placed in an electric field E, suppose Q is the charged particle, sorry, not E, in general Q is the charged particle placed in an electric field. Okay, so what is the electric field experienced, or the electric force experienced by this charged particle when it is kept in an electric field? It is force is equal to QE. We know that. Now the corresponding question in magnetism is, suppose if possible there is a magnetic monopole M. Okay, in nature we have never found, till now we have not found magnetic monopoles. Okay, they always occur in pair. Okay, so generally it is like a bar magnet, and it occurs in pairs like south and north. So we always find magnetic dipoles, but suppose there are a magnetic monopole, or suppose I keep this magnet in a magnetic field B. Okay, B. What is the force experienced due to this B? What is the force experience this north pole experiences? North pole experiences due to a magnetic field B. So how can I find the answer? Suppose the strength of this magnetic north pole is M. Okay, so like charges are quantified by Q, coulombs. Okay, magnetic field, we denote the strength, the quantity of magnetic charge, we denote it by M. Okay, so we'll just use the formula. There is no constant here, electric constant. The magnetic force F experienced by a magnetic monopole M due to a magnetic field B is just given by MP. Okay, I am just replacing there is no constant in this equation, so our first equation is not valid. There is no electrical constant equation. So our second step was to replace all the magnetic quantities with replace all the electrical quantities with the corresponding magnetic quantities. So F, the force experienced by a magnetic monopole in a magnetic field, is just M into B. Okay, now next let us say that if you remember that we know that since magnetic monopoles are not there, okay, so let me say this is a south pole and this is north pole. Okay, so if I have a dipole, like I have a dipole in electric field, okay, so this is minus Q, this is plus Q, this is separated by a distance D. So we had studied that what is the dipole moment. We know that if this is kept in an electric field, this will experience a torque. Okay, this will experience a torque, and so which will be directly proportional to the dipole moment. Okay, so how did we define dipole moment of electric field? The dipole moment of electric field was defined as dipole moment P was equal to the Q times D. Correct? Now if I have a magnetic dipole which has, say, there is a bar magnet which has a south pole and a north pole, okay, what is the magnetic dipole moment? Okay, what is the magnetic dipole moment? Dipole moment. So suppose this is north pole is m, this is minus m. Okay, just like this is plus q, this is minus q. So magnetic dipole moment is will be given by same. So it is denoted by capital M or sometimes mu, as we did it in last thing, mu or capital M. So magnetic dipole moment, like electric dipole moment, is just q m times magnetic distance d. Okay. Now for some curious reason, for some historical reason, the distance between this is generally written as 2L. Okay, 2L. Some two factors they put for some historical reasons. So here distance will be m 2L. Okay, so this is the magnetic formula for magnetic dipole moment, where 2L is the distance between south pole and north pole. Like here it is QD, it is M2L. One interesting thing here is this distance between south pole and north pole is called the magnetic length. Okay, magnetic length. This is magnetic length, and if this is the magnetic length, then I have a bar magnet whose length is, total length is, say 2 capital L. Okay, so the magnetic length is generally smaller than the geometrical length, and the equation goes like 2 small l by 2 capital L, or 2 magnetic length or magnetic length by geometrical length is all about roughly equal to 0.84. It has been found by experiments. Why is magnetic length less than the geometrical length? To find the answer, we need to look into the cause of why some materials are magnet. Okay, so suppose I have a circular magnet. Suppose just for explanation case, for my easier explanation, I have a magnet and some portion is here is north and south, or south and north, whatever. Let me take this as north pole. So why are some materials magnetic and others are not? It is related to the geometry. Okay, so we had studied that if I have a current carrying loop, okay, if I go back to our previous discussions, if I have current carrying loop, we discussed this in some videos back, then it produces a magnetic field. Correct? So if I have a wire which carries current, it produces a magnetic field. Now if you look at atomic level, okay, if I look at the atomic level, this is the nucleus and electrons are moving around this. Okay, so if electrons are moving around like this, that means current is flowing like this. It can, what is current? Current is nothing but flow of charge, flow of electrons. Okay, so if I look at a single atom, there is a current inside an atom in a circular loop. Okay, and we know that whenever in a circular loop there is a current flowing, okay, that means it will produce a magnetic field. Okay, now in a substance we have infinite number of atoms. Okay, and some may be oriented like this, some may be oriented in opposite direction, some may be like this, some may be like this. So in general, in all overall substances, this orientation will be random. Some electrons, some atoms will be oriented like this, electrons will be going like this, some will be oriented like this, where the electron is just going in opposite direction. So here the magnetic field, if I apply the right hand thumb rule, it will come out of your screen of paper. And for this, if I apply the right hand thumb rule, which we had discussed in some videos back, here the magnetic field will go inside. So overall, in general substances, this will average out and net magnetic field will become 0. But in some substance, they are oriented in such a way that all the atoms are oriented in, or most of the atoms are oriented in some specific direction, okay, so that there is a net magnetic field in some direction, okay, either like this or like this, depending on the way all the atoms are oriented. They are oriented along the same way. So that is the cause of magnetism, okay. And if you actually consider how these atoms are oriented and how the magnetic field lines are curving, so they generally curve near the ends, okay. Because of that the magnetic length is slightly smaller than the geometrical length, okay. That is the basic reason why magnetic length is smaller than the geometric length. So if I divide the magnetic length by the geometrical length, the ratio comes to be roughly about 0.84. So going back to our discussions, what we were doing is, whatever we want to do, if we want to find the dipole moment due to a bar magnet, if you just remember the formula for the magnetic moment due to or electrical dipole moment due to due to an electric dipole, it was QD. I just to use the corresponding term, M is equal to, should be equal to MD. So M is equal to, because D we denote it by twice 2 length, 2L, okay. Just the notation of the distance between the magnetic poles is 2L, so here it will be M into 2L. What about torque? Okay, so we had studied that, we had derived, in fact we had derived what will be the torque when plus Q and minus Q on the, when dipoles are kept, when dipole is kept in a magnetic field B, what will be the torque we had derived? You can go back to the electrostatic potential. Torque is equal to P cross E, okay. Similarly, if a bar magnet which have a north pole and a south pole, a magnetic dipole is kept in a magnetic field B, this also experiencing a torque, okay, because there are forces in equal and opposite direction. The north pole will experience a force like this, south pole will experience a force like this. Just like electrical, the positive charge will experience a force in this direction, and negative will experience a force in this direction. And so there will be a torque, and the torque will be equal to, corresponding term in magnetic field will be the magnetic dipole moment, like electric dipole moment here, magnetic dipole moment into B. And the derivation, I will not derive it again, because the derivation will be same for the electric dipole and the magnetic dipole. Again you need to consider this as 2L distance, and there will be a theta here, okay. So the perpendicular distance will be 2L sin theta, and this force will be equal to, if you remember, MB this direction and MB in this direction. This force we had derived this, why it will be MB just a few minutes back. F will be equal to MB, just like F is equal to QE here. And I can just do the derivation. It will be, I will not derive full, but that derivation, it will be same as the derivation which we did for the magnetic dipole moment in electric field. And similarly, potential energy of a dipole in a electric field, this should be E. If you remember, it was just minus P dot product E, okay. So here again, potential energy PE of a magnetic dipole in a magnetic field will be just equal to minus M dot B. I will not derive this. I can ask you derive this derivation in exam, but though I am not deriving it here, because it is same as the derivation of the potential energy of an electric dipole. And if you have any doubts, if you are not able to derive, just go back to the videos of electric dipole, and you should be finding the way to, we should be able to work out how same thing I can apply to the derivation of the potential energy of a magnetic dipole. Similarly, what is the force? Coulomb's law. What is the force between two charged bodies in an two charged body Q1 and Q2? It is F is equal to the electric constant 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R squared, where R is the distance between the objects. Similarly, same thing. What is the force between two magnetic poles M1 and M2 when they are separated by a distance d? It is just F is equal to, here this is the electric constant, the magnetic constant is mu naught by 4 pi into M1 M2 by R squared or d squared, whatever it is. So the step 1 is to replace the electric constant by the magnetic constant. Step 2 is to replace the electrical quantities by the magnetic quantities. Same, another, if I have a charge Q, what is the electric field at a distance R? It is given by 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Electric field is given by 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. The magnitude of it is given by 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R squared. Similarly, if I have a magnetic pole M, what is the magnetic field around this? B. B is same method. Electric constant I have to replace by magnetic constant, mu naught by 4 pi M by R squared, where R is the distance. Okay, another example. If I have a Q here, I want to find what is the potential. Potential is the electric potential. Electric potential is the work done in bringing a unit positive charge from infinity to this point. Okay, to this point. So that was 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R, where R is the distance. Similarly, for magnetic field, it is the same thing. For this is R. The magnetic pole or magnetic strength, pole strength is M, like here is charge strength is Q, and it is 1 by mu naught by 4 pi is the magnetic constant, mu naught by 4 pi M by R. Okay. What was the relationship between the electric field and the magnetic field, or sorry, electric field and electric potential? So V, electric potential at a distance R, was integration of E as a function E dot dr. Okay, this we discussed in our electric potential video. The relationship between electric potential and electric field was E dot dr. So similarly, what will be the relationship between the magnetic potential? So magnetic potential VR. So now I must, let me go back one step. I just defined that electric potential is the work done to bring a unit positive charge from infinity to this point. Similarly, what is the definition of magnetic potential? Magnetic potential is the work done in magnetic potential is the work done in bringing a unit positive or a north pole of unit strength from infinity to this point. Same definition, but now it's just a magnetic pole instead of an electric pole. And similarly here, magnetic relationship between, what is the relationship between magnetic potential VR and the magnetic field? Is just minus B EDR. One final thing before we end. If I have magnetic dipole, say a bar magnet, also, okay, I have a bar magnet. It has a north pole and a south pole. So I want to find what is the potential at a point around it and what is the magnetic field at a point around it. So to find that, again we take the help of a electric dipole, which we derived in our electric video. So how we found an electric field around a point? So the way I defined this point was from the midpoint of the axis of the dipole, I drew a line. This is a theta, this is r. So this point is fixed by r and theta coordinate, and I found out that potential V was due to an electric field, due to a magnetic or electric dipole, was mu naught 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, which was the constant, into p cos theta by r squared. Okay, if you can go back to the videos of the electric dipole to refresh the derivation of this formula. P was the electric dipole moment, q times d. Similarly, to find a point, the potential at a point near the magnetic, a bar magnet, what I have to do? I have to take the midpoint of the magnetic length. Okay, and remember the magnetic length is about 0.84 times the geometrical length. Take a theta and r to define this point, and here V potential, magnetic potential at this point, will again be the magnetic constant. In place of the electric constant, I have to write mu naught by 4 pi. Instead of P, I should write M, the magnetic moment, cos theta by r squared, and the derivation will be the same. I need to find the potential at this point because of the south pole, and I need to find the potential at this point because of the north pole, and I just need to add them up. The derivation, the mathematics, is the same as the derivation of this electric field. I am not deriving it again for this magnetic field, but I may ask you for your test. Derive the magnetic potential due to a bar magnet at a point P near it, and the derivation is the same as the derivation of the electric potential due to a dipole. Similarly, what about the electric field? Okay, so electric field is a vector quantity. So electric field will be a vector, it will have a magnitude as well as direction. Okay, so I can resolve the electric field in two components because it has direction. I will along this radius, which I will call as ER, and along a perpendicular direction to the radius R, which I will call is at E theta. Okay, and if you remember from our discussion during the magnetic electric potential, the electric field due to a dipole, how we derived the electric field from the potential. We have already derived potential. Now we just need to use this potential to derive this ER and E theta. So, okay, so if you go back to your electric field potential, if you just remember, it was minus ER was del V by del R. Okay, so del V by del R is nothing but partial differentiation of the potential with respect to R. And what is the meaning of partial differential? That if we have more than 2-3 variables, like here, V is dependent on R as well as theta. Okay, the theta coordinate as well as the R coordinate. Okay, so partial differentiation with respect to R means I have to consider the theta variable as constant. Okay, so if I consider m cos theta by mu naught 4 pi as constant, you can go back into the details of the mathematics part in our electric dipole chapter. I will just write what will be the final result of differentiating this quantity with respect to R. It will be just, now it is, because it is magnetic, I should write BR. The magnetic field is denoted by B, which will be equal to, and I just partially differentiate with respect to R, keeping theta constant. I will get mu naught, the electric constant, the magnetic constant, mu naught by 4 pi 2m cos theta by R cubed. Okay, and this term will be same as the electric field, except that ER was the electric field 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught to P cos theta by R cubed, and E theta was if you remember the value of E theta, you can go back to the videos again. I'm mentioning again and again, but E theta was just mu naught, or here 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, the electrical constant, P cos theta by r cubed. Okay, so here B theta will be just the magnetic constant mu naught by 4 pi into m sin theta, the magnetic dipole, divided by r cubed. And finally, so if I have, okay, if I want to find the total magnitude or the result magnitude of the resultant, these are the components of the magnetic field. So magnitude of B is nothing but the square root of br square plus b theta square. This is just from the vector algebra. The components will be, the final magnitude will be the square root of the square addition of squares of the components, which will be equal to, if I just put the value of br and b theta from here to here, I will just get, just writing the final after doing all the algebra, mu naught by 4 pi m by r cubed, which is obvious, correct? This is the term which is common in both the terms. This I can simplify it using simple trigonometry, just writing the final formula, 1 plus 3 cos square theta. This is the magnitude of B. And what will be the direction of B? So suppose again here this is B theta and this is BR. So the resultant will be somewhat like this. Let me draw in another color because this is becoming messy. So this is the resultant, and let it make an angle of theta with the radial component, the radius, the arc vector, and so the direction, suppose this is, I can specify the direction by the angle alpha. Theta I have already there, so I will use another angle alpha. Tan alpha will be nothing but this component divided by this component, which is b theta component by br component. Okay, tan alpha will be just b theta by br, and if I substitute the value of b theta from here to here and br from here to here, I will get tan alpha is equal to sin theta by 2 cos theta. Rest of the terms will get cancelled out, 2 cos theta, or I will get sin theta by cos theta is tan theta by 2. So tan alpha will be tan theta by 2, and these results are same as what the results we would have obtained from the electric dipoles. So just to summarize, this is an easy chapter. If you have studied your electrostatics potentials very seriously and sincerely and curiously, and the trick is, the summary is, electric field and magnetic field are two sides of the same coin. It just depends on your frame of reference whether you will see anything as an electric field or a magnetic field, and whatever formulas which are applied to electric field are applicable to the magnetic field. You just need to just follow two steps, which are substitute the magnetic constant, the electric constant, with the magnetic constant, and the electric quantities like the electric dipole or electric charge by magnetic quantities like magnetic dipole and magnetic charge. So next video we will discuss something about Earth's magnetic field. So see you in the next video.